Hello and salutations to all. Welcome to Battle in the Trenches presented by Climb the Pocket. We are here for your championship week in fantasy football. I'm joined by a couple of my good buddies here. Ryan McGinley, say hi.
Well, Jonders, it's bittersweet. It's week 16, so for normal leagues, it's the last week of the year. For you sad leagues, where you have to play in week 17, where you might have Matt Barkley as your quarterback, Steve said he'll FaceTime you, which is nice. So we might have a video, we might not, but Steve will definitely answer all your questions.
Steve, is that true?
It's not true. My number will not be given out. And if you get my number and call me, I'm blocking you and reporting you to the authorities.
Steve is very lonely. He's bluffing. I have his number. DM me. I'll give it to you for free. Hey, so we did pretty good last week in week 15. Do you want to touch on that, Steve?
Yeah, last week we did pretty well. Quarterback, 62.5%. We big hit sitting Aaron Rodgers, so didn't have a good game against Chicago, so Ryan told you not to do that. And good job there. Running back, 87.5%. I told you to start Adrian Peterson. He had a good game against Philly, so you could probably keep him going out there with all that volume. Wide receiver, 75%. Big hit, Terry McLaurin. Ryan, thanks for that. He had a huge game.
It's our boy.
Yep, it is our boy. And tight end, big hit on Higbee. That guy's getting a ton of targets, 300 yards over the last 3 games. Got to keep him in your lineup. So, yep, we did pretty good last week. Keep listening to us for week 16. Hopefully we do just as good.
Yeah, so you're going to want to keep your eyes right on this page in the future. Even though the fantasy season's come to a close, we're still be coming out with new content every week. Hey, make sure you give us a thumbs up on this video. It really helps us out a lot. And make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so you're notified every time we upload a new post here. All right, first, let's go to the newsstand, everybody. Seattle Seahawks wide receiver Josh Gordon once again was suspended by the NFL for substance abuse problems, and in the release they also mentioned PEDs. He's been suspended indefinitely. This isn't a new thing for Josh Gordon, so we don't know what indefinitely really means, but we do know that for Week 16 he will not be able to help your fantasy football team, so adjust accordingly. All right, up next, let's go to the doctor's office. Steve, why don't we go to Dr. Steve there and help us out? Dr. Steve Brule? Is this Dr. Wait, Steve, are you Dr. Steve Brule?
I am.
Okay, well, it's Dr. Steve Brule. Help us out.
Chris Godwin goes down with a hamstring. Huge. If you had Godwin on your team, he most likely got you to the championship, and you can't thank him more than, he got you there, so you got to thank him for that. But Mike Evans goes down, now Godwin, and Scotty Miller. Who's left? Ryan's guy, Justin Watson, fantasy hero, Rashad Perryman. Who knows, but if you got Jameis Winston, you're probably still throwing him out there, and one of these guys is going to be catching balls and touchdowns from Jameis Winston. So, it sucks that you lost Godwin. I don't know what they're doing in the training staff there, but if you miss it, you're going to be missing him in Week 16. But, find their replacement. Hopefully you got Perryman on the waiver wire.
What's going on with Dalvin Cook?
Dalvin Cook, he's got a shoulder issue, and it's been an issue over the last few weeks. And Alex Madison, the backup, has an ankle issue. He didn't play last week, and I don't know if he's going to play this week. So if you're looking for waiver wire... Huh? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say Matt Boone. Is that the guy we're circling?
Yeah, Mike Boone. He's the guy. He got 2 touchdowns this last week, and it wasn't a huge impressive performance on the ground, but that goal line work, the opportunity. This is a running offense, so it's kind of like the Rams backup last year. If Todd Gurley goes down, you're going to want any guy in this offense because their offensive line was very superior. And Dalvin Cook was a workhorse all year. Alex Madison, one of the best handcuffs, but he's not there, and Mike Boone steps right in there. I think he's a waiver wire you have to try to pick up if you need a spot start this week.
How have the Packers been against running backs this year?
They have not been too great, so I would not, I would start guys against the Packers. That's not a scary matchup at all.
Let's get to the meat and potatoes of the show. Let's get to the sit starts. All right, starting off, we're going to give you what you're most interested in, the sexy position here, the quarterbacks. Ryan, we haven't heard from you in a while. Why don't you give us who you're starting at quarterback?
Listen, so I'm starting Carson Wentz because it's Week 16. I'm riding with my boy against the Dallas Cowboys in his career. He's over like 250 yards a game, 2 touchdowns, and he doesn't turn the ball over against him. It's a huge game. The team's going to be amped. They're starting to figure out how to throw the ball in Philadelphia again. I really do like Carson Wentz, even though I'm a big homer. I still think he's a top probably 6 play this week. I'm also starting Phillip Rivers because Phillip Rivers has the chance to maybe audition for a new team in the offseason because he's either going to be a Charger, which I don't really see happening. He's going to find a new team. I like Tennessee before Ryan Tannehill, or he's retiring. So he's either going out or he's got to make a living next year, and I think this is going to be a huge game for him, so I'm definitely starting him against a terrible defense in Oakland.
Interesting stuff. Steve, how about you?
Ryan, I just want to say I respect you greatly for going all year with really not telling anyone to start Carson Wentz or any other Eagles, and usually put them under the bus. And now Wentz is back, and he seems to be doing pretty well with this, whoever list of wide receivers and tight ends. Will Zach Ertz, we all know him, and Dallas Goedert. But he's making it happen, and I respect you, man. Homer, and you're going for Wentz this week 16, where it matters. I'm starting Fitzpatrick versus Cincinnati. He's got his boy back, Devontae Parker, and there's really not much more to say. He's going to hit him for another touchdown this week, so you can slot Parker in there as well against Cincinnati. Pretty abysmal team. So start Fitzpatrick. And Matt Ryan versus Jacksonville. Who thought Matt Ryan would go into San Francisco and get his team a victory against that really good 49ers defense? I was very impressed, and they get to go back home to Atlanta and play Jacksonville, who has been on the down and down. They have been bad. Leonard Fournette can't run the ball. Who knows what their quarterback situation is going on. They don't have many wide receivers that are really making stuff happen. So I like Matt Ryan in this game to go out and get ahead. Julio Jones is getting going, and he goes on hot streaks. He just caught 2 touchdowns last week, so I like Matt Ryan this week.
I like being reminded that the Falcons beat the 49ers this past weekend.
I know.
All right, Steve, let's stick with you, and let's get some quarterback sits.
Quarterback sets. I'm sitting Tom Brady versus Buffalo. And this is just a pure fact that Tom Brady is not a good fantasy quarterback. And the Patriots offense is not that great. One reason why, hot take, and yes, it's a hot take, I don't think the Patriots win the Super Bowl this year. And unfortunately, that, like I said, that is a hot take because most people, I don't want to doubt Tom Brady or the Patriots. They're going to get there and they're most likely going to win. I think this year is different. Their defense is good, and they've had good defenses in the past when they won the Super Bowl, but their offense is not great. And Tom Brady just has not been good. So going against Buffalo, I see that to be another low-scoring game, a boring game. And then I'm starting Derek Carr at Los Angeles. I like what he's got going with Darren Waller. I like this whole divisional game against the Chargers. I think the Chargers kind of usually play down to the Raiders. And, Carr and the Raiders are coming off a couple down games. I think, they kind of want to... I know they're not back in Oakland. That last game, that was pretty bad ending against Jacksonville. But I think they're going to come out and, just play for the name, play for the Raiders before they move. So I like Derek Carr this week.
Ryan, who are you sitting?
One, we never like Derek Carr. That's the one rule on the show.
I'm not you guys.
That's true.
I also don't know if I would start Derek Carr in my championship, but maybe it's a deep league and you're in the championship and it's like you really need a quarterback because something happened. I don't know.
I don't hate it, but I'm sitting Jared Goff against the San Francisco 49ers because I feel like that's going to be a bloodbath. I honestly think that the San Francisco 49ers were embarrassed last week. Their defense is better than that. I mean, they've got a great front. And their defensive scheme is complicated. And I don't think Jared Goff can handle that, honestly. After watching them get their doors blown off by the Cowboys, I don't know if they're ready to finish the season off as a winning team. I think they're shot. Todd Gurley doesn't look good. Brandon Cooks came back, kind of. Cooper Kupp's been missing, and Robert Woods has been solid, but I mean, that's all you're getting out of Robert Woods. So I'm sitting Jared Goff. I'm also sitting Josh Allen against the New England Patriots because he still hasn't thrown for 300 yards as a quarterback. They're going to try to take away his legs. Devin Singletary as a running back put the ball on the ground twice last week. And I think if you put Gilmore on John Brown, who's he throwing to? Cole Beasley? I don't love that. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. It's going to be cold. So I'm sitting Josh Allen this week.
I don't feel particularly moved to give either one of you a touchdown, so I'm not going to. But I will ask Ryan, hey, do you think we need to warn the people that there are 3 games on Saturday?
Yeah, for sure, because we don't want bad lineups set, Jonders.
Yeah.
That's championship round, you can't be a poser.
I'm excited.
Oh, no, I'm hyped.
These Saturday matchups are all fantastic.
Let's go. Saturday football?
You know what? I like the cut of Steve's jib. He's getting a touchdown. 7 points for Steve. All right, Steve, you have the touchdown. Now I want to know what running backs you're starting.
Joe Mixon at Miami. Now, Joe Mixon usually plays better in harder matchups, but he's going against Miami, and Saquon Barkley just tore them up. So I just think they're going to continue to give the ball to Joe Mixon, which they should have done all year because this guy is superior, and he's such a good talent. I love Joe Mixon this week. If you got him and you're in the championship, he's a smash play this week. And I'm going back to a guy I went to last week. Adrian Peterson had a tough matchup versus Philly. He made it happen. He got in the end zone. I like him again this week against the Giants. Now, the Giants have been better against the run lately, but Adrian Peterson, the reason I told you to start him last week was the volume, and he's getting the volume. He's going to get the goal line carries. And Adrian Peterson said he still wants to play next year. Like, he's going to keep going. He's not letting up, and they're throwing him out there, and he's going to get the volume, like I said. So put him in your lineup for the championship. AP for another touchdown this week. Let's go.
Ryan, who you starting at running back?
I'm starting Jim White. I'm starting James White, the New England Patriots running back. Very cool, very nice. I like it, James White. we're dumping the ball off to James White. Tom Brady's arm doesn't look good. Mohamed Sanu can't catch. Edelman's banged up. It's a James White game because he's explosive, and I don't expect the ball to go more than 15 yards in the air this week. So definitely starting Jim. I'm also starting Ron Jones, probably in your last place game. But Ron Jones, great play. They're throwing to Brashad Perriman and Justin Watson, and maybe O.J. Howard if he doesn't miss a block early in the first quarter. So Ron Jones, I'm definitely firing him up this week, so he's one of my starts.
Very cool, very swag. I like it. Ryan, we're going to stick with you. Let's see who you're avoiding at running back this week.
Yeah, I'm sitting Phillip Lindsay. It's a lost season for Phil. He's not getting the volume I expected him to. He's very efficient when he gets it, but he hasn't seen like over 15 carries in the last like 5 or 6 weeks. They can't figure out how to run the ball there. Royce Freeman has seemingly been the main guy at the goal line, even though Phillip Lindsay still is as effective as Royce Freeman. So I'm sitting him. I'm also sitting Devin Singletary against the Patriots. I don't like his ball control. The way he fumbled twice last week against a defense that knows all weaknesses at all times. Kind of concerning for me. And you got to go with Frank Gore, the wily vet, against a great defense. So I think he's not going to see as much volume as he did last week.
All right, Steve, who are you sitting at running back?
I told you to do this last week, and hopefully you did. Le'Veon Bell versus Pittsburgh. Even in this revenge game, I don't like Le'Veon Bell. He's not good on this team, and quite frankly, I don't know how good he is anymore. He's not doing it for you. If you made it to the championship with Le'Veon Bell, I don't know how you can confidently throw him out there in your RB1 or RB2 slot. Maybe if you need him as a flex, go ahead and give it a try because of the revenge game narrative, but I don't trust him at all. And I'm sitting David Montgomery versus KC. Now, KC's a good matchup, but no one knows what the Bears are doing. It seems like they want to air the ball out a little more to Allen Robinson and Anthony Miller, and David Montgomery just isn't really coming into his own, kind of like Miles Sanders is in Philadelphia. So I don't like David Montgomery this week. I don't know how you can trust him in your lineup for your championship.
I went bowling this weekend, and I'm kind of sick. I have a cold and like a cough thing. What did Le'Veon Bell bowl? A 280?
Yeah,
I did not get that
251 or two.
I did
that's
not.
got to be right.
I was not in the 200s. I'll tell you that much. Ryan, we're giving you a touchdown here for the James White reference. Look him up online. James Cage White, is that it on Twitter?
I believe so.
Look him up on Twitter. It's a good time. Steve, we're going on to wide receivers. Tell me who you're starting.
I'm starting Mike Williams versus Oakland. Now, Phillip Rivers and the Chargers, they kind of play down to Oakland, and he doesn't usually have a good game against Oakland. But out of nowhere, Mike Williams is all of a sudden a red zone target after having 10-plus touchdowns last year and having no touchdowns till last week. Now he's had 2 touchdowns in a row, or a touchdown last week and a touchdown this past week. So I like him again to get in the end zone. He's getting a lot of targets. He's got 6 targets over his last 2 games. So he's getting targeted. In Oakland, they're pretty bad against the deep ball, and that's what Mike Williams' specialty is. So I like Mike Williams this week. If you need him as a flex to replace like Chris Godwin or something like that, I think that's a smash play. And Cortland Sutton versus Detroit. Now, Cortland Sutton wasn't really involved too much in that game plan against KC. Huge snow game. That was just a weird game. If you pivoted off him, it was probably a good play. But he ended up putting up 4 for 79 for you. So it was a decent game in PPR. But I like him against Detroit. We saw what Brashad Perriman just did in Detroit. Jameis Winston threw all over them, 400-plus yards again. So I think Cortland Sutton has a really good game. I think Drew Lock gets right. It's a home game for them going against Detroit. I like it a lot. If Matt Stafford's back, it could be more of a shootout. I like the Denver defense in this game.
And like Deion Sanders would say, the Lions have been packing up the U-Hauls for a good month at this point, right?
Yes, sir.
And that's something that we should think about, too, while we go forward here.
That's true.
Is that there are teams like the Panthers who have completely checked out of this season, and you want to start players against teams like that.
I do have a scenario I learned about is I heard that John Harbaugh might sit the starters if they ended up getting the number 1 seed. And if Buffalo beats New England on Saturday, then they would lock down the number 1 seed in the AFC. And technically, he could sit the Baltimore Ravens starters for Week 16, which would really suck for anyone that has Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, anyone like that. It's a possibility. Just have it on your radar and make sure you pay attention to the news. And make sure you watch that New England-Buffalo game on Saturday.
We don't usually do this, but Steve's getting a touchdown for that nugget. That's a good nugget. All right, Brian. Who are you starting at wide receiver?
So Steve sat a slot wide receiver against the Ravens last week, right?
I don't know. I don't watch the show. I just host it. Okay.
He sat Jamison Crowder, who went 90 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I see what you're doing here. I see what you do. You didn't disagree. You were sitting all those Jets.
I
too.
sat Robbie Anderson. The
Yeah, I get
Ravens
it.
are notoriously bad against the slot wide receiver, so that's why I'm starting Jarvis Landry this week. He's angry. He needs to put some good tape on for whatever teams are going to come and get him. So I'm starting Jarvis Landry. I love the matchup. They've had an issue against the slot wide receiver all year. Check it. It's real facts. Also, you said that I haven't bashed my Eagles at all. I'm starting Amari Cooper. You got an absolute nothing out of Amari last week, so congrats if you made it to the championship game with a terrible Amari Cooper. But the last 2 games, the Eagles have given up huge plays, and I think he's the Cowboys' big play guy. I think he goes over 100 yards just like Slayton went 2 weeks ago, like our boy Terry McLaurin went last week. I think Amari Cooper busts out of a funk, especially if Ronald Darby's covering him. So I'm super confident in Amari Cooper this week. I'm playing him as a wide receiver 1.
Steve, let's go to your sits.
I'm sitting who? Greg Ward?
Oh.
No, I heard you. Greg Ward versus Dallas? Who's Greg Ward? Oh, yeah, he's the new superstar in Philly, apparently. You don't have to roll your eyes. Come on, you're not a huge Greg Ward guy. He's getting it done the other day. That's when he got it done. But quarterback, coming and playing wide receiver, they have no one. Sure, he's going to get targets, but do you really trust him in this divisional game against Dallas where he's seemingly their best wide receiver? I don't think so. So I don't like Greg Ward in my championship. There's no way. I wouldn't replace a guy like Chris Godwin with Greg Ward. That's nothing against the Eagles. You don't need to put that face on. And I'm sitting OB. You got something?
No, you continue, Steve.
I'm sitting OBJ, and I've said this probably way too many weeks this year, and I think I said it last week. I'm sitting OBJ versus Baltimore. Even his final stat line didn't really show the kind of game he had against Arizona. He had a really bad game, and he's just not OBJ this year, and who knows where he's going to be next year. He's a guy, he's on your team. I wouldn't even think about putting him in your championship lineup. I would much rather go off someone off the waiver wire. Isn't it crazy? Here we go, Ryan.
Ryan, what was
OBJ
the player I got mad
or
at
Justin
last
Watson?
week?
OBJ or Justin Watson?
What did I get mad at Steve about? Was it last week or 2 weeks ago where he wanted to start somebody obvious?
Oh, yeah, no, yeah,
Greg Ward and OBJ, like, we're in the championship round. We're trying to help out champions.
People are losing star players like Chris Godwin. They have to go to the waiver wire to pick someone up. And they might consider Greg Ward, who's coming off a good game, and he's their number 1 option right now.
We do not have Greg Ward slander here, 1. 2, Greg Ward would have been, I don't know, the wide receiver 2 in Green Bay last week. So take that slander out your mouth.
There's nothing against Greg Ward. He had a good game. I wouldn't start him in my championship lineup.
I mean,
all right, Ryan, let's get to your sits. Let's get to your wide receiver sits.
Yeah, so, dude, you got me all befuddled now. I'm sitting Emmanuel Sanders. I think he's got Jalen Ramsey on him this week. I don't love that matchup. Sure, that game could be a blowout, but I also think they're riding the Kittle high right now. Kittle had 13 catches last week. Deebo Samuel's there. They've got 17 running backs they can give the ball to. They don't have to force the ball to Emmanuel Sanders this week, so I'm not playing him. Also,
can I tell you guys real quickly that no one will be a bigger fan of the 49ers losing to the Cowboys in the wild card weekend than me?
Which is crazy because you're going to lose to the Eagles in wild card weekend.
Okay, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm sitting E-Man. I'm also sitting John Brown. It's pretty obvious. I mean, he's going against Stephon Gilmore. So do with that what you
the best corner in the league.
He's so good.
Yeah, I'll give a touchdown there to Steve. Again, I think Steve had better points, even if they were obvious points. Let's do tight end starts and sits at the same time. Ryan, I see that little pout you're making. I'm taking away a touchdown from you, so now it's 21-0 because you're pouting. What?
Steve's up 42-0 in the last 2 weeks. I don't care. It's fine.
It makes the editing of this video very
I'm starting Jacob Hollister this week. He's a
Oh,
stud.
wait. No. Ryan just got 3 touchdowns. So it's 21-21. Now go on with your point.
Yeah, I'm also sitting Austin Hooper because I don't like what he's looked like post-injury. Yeah.
All right, great. Hey, Steve. Sits and starts, tight ends.
Can I use Jacob Hollister again?
It'd be smart. I don't know. I don't know the rules.
Hey, if you need a tight end, Noah Fant's been getting a lot of targets from Drew Lock, and they're going against Detroit. Jameis Winston just tore him up, and I think Drew Lock will do pretty good, and Noah Fant's been one of his favorite targets. Salvaged an okay game against KC last week in the snow. Not a great game, but definitely probably their big play threat next to Cortland Sutton. And I'm sitting Dallas Goedert versus Dallas. he just hasn't been what Philly has needed in a pass catcher since losing all those receivers, and which is kind of surprising. I kind of thought it'd be more of a two tight end passing attack, and he's certainly out there running routes and whatnot, but it's not what I thought. So I'm sitting Dallas Goedert in my championship.
I stopped listening a while ago. Okay, here's what I want to tell you guys. The score is currently tied, and I've had so much fun this year doing this show with both of you. I want to be explicit that this is not a tie, but you both win, and I'm giving a win to our viewers. Thank you, everybody, for watching us this year. We've had tons of fun making this show. Hopefully you had a fraction of the fun we had, because we just love making this show for you every week. Steve, Ryan, I wish you both luck in these championship weekends. I will not be participating, and that's why you guys are the experts and I'm the host. But yeah, I just want to say to the fans and to you guys, so much fun, and we're going to keep making content here at Climb the Pocket, even though we're going to be past championship weekend. I'm choking up, guys. I'm choking up.
It's a sad day. This season went quick, but I hope everyone gets dubs this weekend.
Yeah.
Facts.
So if Jonders Claus can give out anything, it's thank yous and W's for all of you and yours. So thank you for subscribing and being a part of our family for the last, 4 months now or whatever it is. Steve, do you have anything you want to say? This is your baby. Do you want anything you want to say before we tune out here?
You just dropped the F word, the family word, and it really got to me. I really appreciate anyone here watching these videos, coming for advice, dropping comments, liking the videos. It's really cool. Our viewership's going up, over the last couple weeks and whatnot. We're really excited. We're going to keep producing content as much as we can over the off season, and hopefully through the NFL playoffs, just to provide some conversation and whatnot. I couldn't stop talking to you guys about football while football's still going on, so we're definitely going to have that. But anyway, thanks for checking us out again. We hope you win your championships.
All right, so still subscribe even though the fantasy season's over. Thank you. And for Steve 2.0 on Twitter, for Bootleg Fantasy on Twitter, and Jonders FPT on Twitter, and at Climb the Pocket on Twitter. Get home safe, everybody, and bye!